Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Chapter Spatial Temporal Festivals. Eid festival stands literally for a recurrent event, thus it implies also a place often visited by people, and a period of time in which a particular act is regularly performed. Likewise, each gathering that assembles regularly belongs to the same category. Innovations falling under all the above categories are found. There are three main types of temporal festivals: sanctifying such days which have no sanctity in Sharia. Such a practice was not in vogue in the days of our pious ancestors. There is nothing to accord sacredness to these days, such as Rajab festivities. The first Thursday and the following Friday night of the month of Rajab are celebrated as a raghaib by the commoners. Islam does not admit the sanctity of this day or night. This practice is reported first after the 4th century. Hadith is presented in support of this practice, which, according to the consensus of religious scholars, is a fabricated report. It speaks of the sacredness of this particular day and night, stating that one should fast in the day and pray at night. As a matter of fact, praying and fasting, especially on this day and night, is innovation which is to be forbidden strictly. This particular day and night should be regarded as any other day and night. One should not act in particular manner on these days to give the permission that these are of some special significance. Likewise, in the middle of the month of Rajab, a particular day is set apart and a specific prayer is offered on that day, called as Salat Dadu. It does not have any Sharia sanction. To hold a particular day as sacred on which a particular event happened, yet it does not sanctify that particular day, and that similar event had happened on other days also. Eid Ghadir, while returning from his farewell pilgrimage to the Prophet ﷺ, delivered a sermon on the 18th of Dhul-Hijjah at Ghadir. He exhorted everyone to abide by the Quran and advice regarding his household, which is reported by Zayd bin Arqam and the Holy Hadith collection of Muslim. The misguided people have, however, affected certain interpolations into this report. They even claim that the Prophet ﷺ had clearly commanded that Ali be appointed the Khalif and seated him at an elevated place. The companions, however, hatched a conspiracy and concealed this command of the Prophet ﷺ. Thus they committed an act of great injustice and transgression. Such a thing was impossible to do. Had someone tried to conceal this statement, it was not possible for him to do so. Moreover, in view of the companions' excellent conduct and integrity, it cannot be even imagined that they had committed such a monstrous act. We are not concerned here with the issue of imamah. Our objection lies in declaring that it is an innovation to regard this particular day as a special day, for it does not have any sanction in Sharia. Our righteous predecessors did not attach any significance to this day, nor did the Prophet's family members ever consider it as a special day. Special days are only the ones which have been designated by the Sharia. We should therefore better follow Sharia, not indulge in something new and fantastic. If this particular day is said to have special place in that the Prophet ﷺ delivered a sermon on that day, it is so many other days. Likewise, he issued a pieces of advice on several occasions. There are days on which important events did happen. For example, the days of Battle of Badr, Hunayn, Khandaq, and the day of the conquest of Mecca, of Hijrah, and of reaching Medina. These highly significant events happen on certain days, yet no special significance is attached to these. Christians are guilty of this practice. They have taken to commemorating the days of special significance in the life of the Prophet Jesus ﷺ. The Jews too follow this practice. In Islam, however, Allah has already prescribed certain days for religious festivals, and the days designated so enjoy this position. Only those are to be celebrated. We should not invent new festivals and add these to our religion. Milad, birthday. Some holds true for treating the Prophet's birthday as a sacred day. Muslims do so in imitation of the Christians who celebrate with much pomp and show Jesus' birthday, and do so out of their love and respect for the Prophet ﷺ. Allah would reward them for their love for the Prophet, but not for their innovation. Once it is established that something in innovation and yet is one commits it, he would not get any reward, rather he earns Allah's displeasure. Anniversary functions may be held in memory of historic events, they cannot be organized in the belief of earning Allah's reward. Nonetheless, it should be celebrated as a holiday. First, there is a divergence of opinion about the exact date of his birth. Moreover, early Muslims did not celebrate it as a holiday, though they could do so, and there was apparently an obstacle to it. Had it been a really good thing, early Muslims would have celebrated, for they loved the Prophet ﷺ more than us, and there were more virtues than us, yet they did not do so. How to love the Prophet ﷺ? It is not proper way to express love for the Prophet ﷺ by holding milad functions. The way is to follow him both inwardly and outwardly. He should be followed, his directives be implemented, his sunnah be revived, his message be propagated and struggled by the heart, by the hand and the tongue in his cause. This was the way of the early Muslims of both Muhajirin and Ansar, which was maintained by subsequent generations of pious Muslims, the zealous practitioners of innovation. Though the zealous practitioners of innovation may attain some reward for their sincerity and good intention, they are not so enthusiastic about following Sharia. Their likeness is that one of the who decorates his copy of the Quran with gold or silver and does not recite it, or he recites it but does not put into practice teachings, or is like one who decorates a mosque but does not pray there. Another likeness is that of a person who lights the lamps and spreads carpets in mosque yet prays little there. For decorating a mosque is not sold by Sharia. It gives rise to hypocrisy and arrogance. Such matters distract one and make him indifferent to religious duties and result in other problems. The same point is made in Hadith. ما ساء عمل أمة قط إلا زخرفوا مساجدهم. When a community indulges in misdeeds, it takes to decorating mosques. An important point. We should not lose sight of an important point, that there were acts that have both evil and good in them. They are good in that a part of is prescribed by Sharia, and evil in that part of them is invented. Such acts may be treated as good if it is abandoning might lead to forsaking faith itself, as in case of hypocrites and transgressors. Most of the later day Muslims suffer from it in that they have taken to such acts. Guidelines for the reformer. In these cases, the reformer must follow these 2 points. First, he should hold fast both outwardly and inwardly to Sunnah. He should instruct his disciples at the same time. He should recognize virtue and practice it. Likewise, he should discern evil and shun it. Next, he should invite people as much as possible to Sunnah. On observing someone indulging is in undesirable act, and if he stopped from it, he may engage in something worse, or abandon some obligatory act. He should not be asked to give up that undesirable practice. If there is some goodness in his practice of innovation, try to change it by the goodness sanctioned by Sharia. Man is instinctively drawn to adopt something and give up another when it is offered an alternative. It is not befitting for anyone to abandon goodness unless he does something better. Both the practitioner of innovation and those who have forsaken Sunnah are to be condemned in an equal measure. There are many among the critics of innovations who themselves do not follow Sunnah, many of them even worse than those who practice innovation. Religion is based on the twin principle of enjoining good and forbidding evil. Both of them are completely in that one cannot be established without another. One cannot enjoin good unless he forbids evil. One should ask to others to worship Allah and at the same time forbid from the worshipping anyone other than Allah. For the cradle statement of Islam is there is no true God but Allah. Man is there to act and not to abandon. While we ask one to abandon doing something, it is done with a view to asking him to do its alternative. Since evil acts shut the door, of goodness. It is important that they be given up so that one is better positioned to do good. Some people may accept to get reward from celebrating the Prophet's birthday. They may get the same way in view of their sincerity and their love, regard for the Prophet ﷺ. As already hinted, may Allah accept the deeds of even such people who are not true believers. Muhammad was once told that a particular ruler has spent 1,000 dinar on the Quran. He replied, "Do not stop him, for it is the best thing in which he spent his money." He said so, notwithstanding the fact that he regarded decorating the Quran as an undesirable act. What accounts for the above remark of his that though the rules act was not a good one, it had a hidden virtue. Were the rules not to spend in good causes, they were likely to waste in evil deeds, and which are shorn of any goodness. If the ruler, instead of decorating the Quran, had spent the same amount of money in acts, sports, pleasure, enjoyments, Greek books, it would have been much worse. A reformer should therefore have insight in the religious wisdom. On observing these, he should judge the merits and demerits in them and try to gain a good understanding of the degrees of good and evil, so that in case of conflicting position, he should give preference to the more important over the lesser one. This is the greatest essence of Messenger's teachings. It is an outstanding feature of Islamic thought that in a situation confrontation, they lay emphasizes on greater good, reject greater evil, and act in accordance with more weighty arguments. There are 3 degrees of these: good, with which act is prescribed by Sharia, and which desirable at all. Such good acts which contain goodness in that part of these is derived from Sharia, or in view of the sincerity and good intention of the doer. Such an act which is absolutely shorn of goodness in that it either leads to abandoning a good act for being an evil act in itself. The first degree is related obviously to following Sunnah both outwardly and inwardly, and verbally and practically. In all matters, academic as well as practical, its knowledge and teaching is obligatory. Sunnah should be prescribed and practiced. We have the model of early Muslims, Muhajirin, as well as Ansar and their successors in this respect. The second degree is observable mostly in the conduct of later Muslims. These of the most of the scholars and commoners belong to this category. They are better than those who do not act good, or whose misdeeds are of the type of such evil acts as unbelief, falsehood, cheating, and ignorance. Thus, those who practice such rituals of worship, part of which is undesirable, for example, fasting continuously, renouncing natural desire, like the monks, spending such nights in worship which has got no sanction in Sharia, as the first night of the month of Rajab, such people are obviously better than those who do not have anything good to their credit. And also the objecting to such new and inventive forms of worship are those who are themselves utterly neglectful of worshiping Allah, nor do they obtain good knowledge. They are inclined to do good acts. They no doubt oppose acts which are not prescribed in Sharia, yet their own conduct is against Sharia. A Muslim should adopt all that is good and avoid all that is evil. He should enjoin goodness and forbid evil. So doing, he should not care about public criticism, be it by the ulama or by the hypocrites. To the third category belong such days which are important in Sharia. For example, the 10th of Muharram, the day of Arafah, the 2 days of Eid, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. These days have no special importance, yet people indulge in innovation on these days, and it is important that they be stopped from it.